Welcome to She Makes It Move, podcast where we break down how to prepare, stage, and position properties for maximum profit. I'm your host, Maddie Shepherd. Today we're talking about budgeting, stage budgeting, right? Or budget staging. Because staging does not have to be expensive to be effective. Some of the fastest selling listings I've worked on use simple, affordable updates. No renovations, no designer furniture, just smart decisions. And if you're short on cash, short on time, or short on patience, this episode is definitely for you. Staging does not require a big budget, it requires the right priorities. Can I say that again? Staging does not require a big budget, right? It requires the right priorities. Most sellers overspend in the wrong places. Budget staging is about knowing what exactly needs to be needled. Um, so let's talk about why budget staging works. Buyers are not counting how much you spent. They are reacting on how the home feels. Clean, bright, open, functional. These feelings do not come from money, they come from presentation. So when a home looks intentional, buyers assume it is well cared for, right? The assumption leads to confidence, and confidence leads to what? Offers. Budget staging focuses on perception, not perfection. All right. So there are three things that matters most. So if you remember nothing else from this episode, remember this: lighting, textiles, layout. Those three things: lighting, textiles, and layout. Those three things. These three things shape how a home is experienced. You can change how a room feels without changing the room itself. Uh, Lighting under a budget. Lighting is the fastest way to upgrade a space. Dark rooms feel smaller, dim rooms feel neglected. You do not need fixtures. I'm sorry, y'all hear my dog. I have two dogs and they are going crazy because their pop pop just put in the driveway. All right, so let's focus on opening blinds and curtains, adding lamps where corners feel heavy. Use warm bulbs consistently. Turn on every light before showings. All right, that's important. So a well lit room feels welcoming. It photographs better. It feels larger. So lighting alone can change first impressions. All right. Do y'all hear? Do you hear my babies? I love it. This is live, y'all. So, textiles that add value. So, textiles softens the space. They add warmth and comfort. This includes pillows, throws, rugs, bedding. So you don't need designer brands either. You can go to Walmart, Target, or Target, or Homes, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, something like that. But just remember to stick to the neutral colors, simple textures, um, consistent tones, right? So it's important that you stick to these things, adhere to these things, right? One throw, two pillows, clean bedding. This is all you're going to need. That is enough, right? So don't overdo it, especially if you're on a budget. Don't feel like you have to have to spend a lot. Textiles help buyers feel relaxed. Relaxed buyers linger. Remember, we talked about this in the last two episodes, right? Lingering leads to what? Emotional connection. And you want your buyers to have that emotional connection as soon as they walk in that door. You want them to feel like they're at home, right? So layout changes the most, layout changes that cost nothing. So layout is free, absolutely free, but it's powerful. So most rooms feel smaller because the furniture is placed incorrectly, right? So let's look for blocked walkways, oversized furniture pushed against every wall. Let's reposition pieces to create clear paths, define purpose of the room, open up the center of that space. Sometimes removing one chair does more than adding decor. So these little simple things you can make the changes of without spending any money. So these are free, right? So space sells. Remember, space sells, keep it simple. Let's talk about where not to spend money. All right, now this is important. Do not spend money on the following items. Okay, just don't do it. Don't. That's a no. All right. So that's trendy decor. Don't do it. Bold art. It's unnecessary. Personal accessories. Not necessary. Personal accessories. The answer is right there. There's personal. Remember, you're taking your personal out and you want the buyer to see themselves in it. So it cannot be personal. Renovations you cannot finish. Don't start a project and you can't finish it when you're trying to sell a home. Unless you have investors. Buyers do not need any style statements. They need clarity. If the budget is tight, skip extras and focus on fundamentals. All right. Real examples from the field. Here we go. I worked with a seller who had less than $300 to work with. But actually, this was fun because it challenged me, right? And I love to be challenged. We focused on the new light bulbs, fresh neutral bedding, removing excess furniture, and adding two simple pillows in the throw. That was it. Simple. That was it. The home went live, showings increased immediately, and it sold quickly. No renovation, no stress, just smart staging. Again, that's why I said make sure you get a professional to come in that can evaluate your property and that can stage it appropriately. Let's talk about how to create your $300 plan. You can do it. And here's the simple approach to that. So you're going to start with the living room, then the primary bedroom, then the kitchen. And then you're going to ask yourself these questions, right? Is this space bright? You're going to look around. Is this space bright? You're going to ask yourself, is it clutter free? So you want to make sure you declutter any cluttered space. And you're going to ask yourself, is the purpose clear? So you want to make sure each room states what it is for and is it a clear message? If if the answer is no, then you need to adjust. Simple as that, just adjust. Budget staging is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things. If you want help creating your own budget staging plan, grab my budget staging checklist in the show notes. It breaks down exactly where to spend and where to save. Thanks for listening to She Makes It Move. If this episode helped you rethink staging, share it with someone who is preparing to sell. I'll see you in the next episode.